What's up? What's up, everybody? What's happening? I come out of there. I'm Josh Myles.
I'm Shaq Riley
And welcome to the I Hear You
podcast.
Hey, we glad to see everybody. Y'all come on in. Come on in. We got something for you today. We got something special for you today.
Got a nice treat for him today, though.
We got a world-renowned producer, songwriter, record executive, Nashville native, ladies and gentlemen, musician, fire drummer, and he's a PK. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the incomparable Stan Jones.
The Stan Jones. We got claps and everything.
Y'all got sound effects and all. Y'all some bad boys. That's what I'm talking about. What's up, Josh? What's up, Shaq? Good to see y'all, man.
You got it, Stan, man. We're glad to have you here, man. We're glad you decided to come on with us today.
Man, I'm blessed to be here, man. Glad to be hanging out with y'all fellas.
Oh,
that warrior hater over there. don't say nothing about the Warriors.
King James.
Huh?
King James version.
Man, you right. Yeah, LeBron James, that's his name.
LeBron.
Man, I'm glad to be here, man, with y'all, man.
Yes, sir. All of y'all out there in YouTube land, Facebook land, wherever you from, just let us know where you watching from, and tell Stan hey if you want to. We want to give folks a little time to come in, Stan. So
yeah, we'll do that.
And let us know if you are a LeBron fan or if you're a Warrior.
Lakers in 5.
Wait a minute, man. You going to Lakers in 5. Man, you said the next game is over.
Game is over with. Nah, they'll probably take it. Still might come out with his bag of tricks. Greatest point guard ever lived to me. No, I ain't gonna take nothing from him.
All right, now you coming back around on the other side of the equation.
But I think LeBron is the greatest ever behind Jordan.
Jonas Ross said he a Warrior.
That's what I'm talking about.
Stan got him an A-man corner today.
A-man corner. What LeBron night said.
That's what I'm talking about. GSW. What I'm talking about.
That's Jay, Jordan Jackson.
Oh, what's up, Jay? That's my man, Delta boy. Yeah, we did.
Yes, sir. Running around the heat, talking about the Boston Celtics.
We ain't talking about the Celtics.
That's my brother-in-law's thing.
They at Disneyland now. The Celtics, are they still playing?
They about to be at Disneyland when JR and get down with it.
They said
he said, "I'm King Jesus." Who said that?
That's Jay. Hey, Miss Sonia Dupree, we're glad to have you on. JC Shumpert.
Good, JC.
All right, bro, Randy Conley. That's
we ain't got a bunch of basketball fans on here.
Yeah, ain't nobody really talking, but because I ain't just no real big basketball fan.
I had to drag Josh to games.
I watched the game last night.
Yeah, who you cheering for, Dale? I know he with King James. I hope so.
Hey, Miss Brenda Davis. Jonas said no greater team than the Warriors said.
What I'm talking about.
I mean, they is the best team ever assembled. That's what I say. I think LeBron the greatest player.
Dale. Dale is a LeBron fan. I'm telling you now.
You know what's great about salvation, though? Everybody can be delivered from wherever they
Everybody can be delivered.
Yes, sir.
Lake Show.
Who owns the flu? Jay.
Man, you done caught the flu?
Man, how you getting the flu? It's 98 degrees outside, Jay.
Flu.
What's going What's going on?
The weather crazy though. You will walk outside and it'll be cold.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll take it in. He said they're gonna take it in 7.
I hope not, but I can take it however.
But that's what I'm saying. I did watch the game. I really thought the Golden State were gonna win last night.
Man, don't bring that up. That's bad, man.
That's heartbreak right there.
We on to the next. Man, you know what? Since that game last night, they be playing the highlights. I turned the TV off, man. I don't even watch no sports commentators or nothing. I turn all that stuff off until tomorrow, huh? Somebody say the next day.
Dale said he's sorry about your looks, man.
Man, I don't believe in luck, Doc. Come on, I don't care with no rabbit's foot. I don't do none of that stuff. We gonna be all right. Golden State will win. I'm praying for it, man. It looks bleak right now. It looks pretty bad. 3-1, man. That's a tall order for anybody to try to come from.
It's a person who did it though.
Who did it?
King James.
Nah.
Warriors.
Nah. I don't think so. KD not coming.
They'll be on KD.
I know, man. Hey, well, we won it last year without KD, so we good.
Hey, yeah, the Warriors got a great foundation though.
Bless you, Mr. Hollis Williams.
What's up, Mr. Williams? What you say, Josh? Y'all having inside conversation in there. We couldn't hear that.
I was trying to make sure we were calling the right person a Mr. or Miss.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm just trying to.
You want to make sure you get that right, Doc.
Well, we're gonna give folks just a few more minutes to get in. I want to throw this plug in on next Thursday. Y'all come on back out to YouTube. This is a YouTube exclusive on next Thursday. Miles House Sessions. We're gonna have Fred Perry in the building, Jay Ant, Darnell Williams, Lawrence McKenzie, and Duke Smith, and we're gonna be talking musicianship and audio production. If you were with us last week when we did Jordan Jackson, Ray Braswell, and Jay Vaughn, it was very productive and a lot of great information came from those guys. And I just believe it's gonna be a lot of that greatness in the room next Thursday. So y'all come on, check us out next week as well. That's gonna be exclusively on YouTube. So that ain't gonna ride on Facebook or Instagram or none of them other things. It's gonna be on YouTube. So you gotta subscribe. Well, you don't have to subscribe, but we want you to subscribe. But you'll have to go to the YouTube channel to check that out. So we appreciate y'all for coming in. We're gonna get right on into it, Stan. We know
y'all boys bad, man. Y'all got commercials and all, man. That's
like you.
You're welcome, Shaq. Oh man. Okay.
We trying to work it the best we can, Stan.
I'm working it, man. Y'all working it. Yes, sir.
But we know your time valuable, man. We're gonna go and just get into it a little bit. We don't want to take up too much of your time.
I'm with you, man.
We're just gonna ask you a few questions, man.
Sure.
To the people that's out there listening, if you got any questions anytime, or if you want to tell us anything, or you got any comments, just drop it in the box below and we'll catch it and we'll talk about it a little bit. But first of all, Stan, just give us a rundown from the jump. How did you get started, and what inspired you to do it? Do this?
That's a lot. We ain't got enough time. No, on the real. I started off as a musician. My father played organ and lead guitar and all kinds of stuff. So he's a singer as well. He used to travel around the state and tri-state area of Tennessee and like Arkansas, Alabama, and Mississippi. he would teach choirs all the time, and I would watch him and his passion and enthusiasm for music. My mother was also a choir director in the church, and I just fell in love with music. I grew up very strict. You know, I couldn't listen to R&B except for when my unsaved uncle would come around. He would sneaky let me listen to stuff like Jodeci and stuff. But when I heard that stuff, man, I felt so deprived. Like my family cheated me out of life or something like that, man. Because I was like, these people can flat out sing, man. I've never heard nothing like that before in my life. Yeah. But at the time when I was a kid, I didn't have a like a radio or whatever or a CD player. So I would always sit in my father's car for hours and just listen to music. And he would come outside and be like, "Don't you run my battery down?" But he didn't, you know what I'm saying? But what he didn't know is I was actually studying, you know, everybody. I would study choir music. I would study quartet. I would study, you know, contemporary commission or Winans or, you know, or the Williams Brothers or the Ken Spirituals or all these people. Like I was just studying their music. And I just grew up in it. My first group I played for was the Bolton Brothers. This guy named Harvey Yarbrough, who was the bass player at the time, a real skinny dude playing on Live in Mobile 1 when they did Cornbread and Black Eyed Peas, Doc. I know you know what I'm
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So he was on there, and shortly after they did that video, man, he showed up at my parents' house and was like, "I'm coming to get this kid. I want him to play for us." And I was like 17 or something like that. And I'm traveling the world with these giant dark-skinned brothers who can sing the cover off of a microphone. Man, you guys know they can still sing, you know.
Yes, sir.
And traveled with them for a great deal. And the Bolton Brothers, who are signed to Blackberry Records, when the Williams Brothers saw me playing, and Henry Green walked up to me one night after a Bolton Brothers concert. He said, "Nah, I love the way you play. The next time I see you, I want you to be on our bus." So that's how that happened. So that's how that happened. And I started playing for the Williams Brothers, which led to production and as well at the time. And this great gentleman named Randy Everett, who's I call him my Caucasian father, basically. And so he gave me a key to the studio, man, and just let me have free reign, you know, and let me figure out stuff. So I never actually studied it or anything. It was just by trial and error, Josh. So, you know, some days he would come in, man, and then the whole songs would be deleted. But, you know, he would never he would never like trip or anything. He would just show me what I did wrong, you know, or whatever. And ultimately he would try to recover what was lost, and he would do it some magical way. But that was my start into all of this, you know, kind of being a student, basically. You know, the Bible says, "A preacher, you're a preacher, Josh. You just study to show thyself approved." You know, you gotta get that approval by the study that you do, and I live by that. I'm still studying. I'm still learning, and forever, I'll be forever learning, trying to be better or learn different styles of gospel music. So yeah, man, that's a summary of it for sure. I ain't trying to take over, man. You know, we got
listening. That's right. Knowledge.
Yeah, man.
Can you talk about your creative process and how like you get your mind flowing when you want to write, or with your lyrics and all that, or production wise?
Songs, man, to be honest, they just seem to come, or they'll just show up in some way, some form. It could be a conversation. It could be something I've seen. I've written songs to movies that might have had like an impactful scene. I'll turn the volume down and write the song that should be there, and or something like that. Or I could ride around in the car for an hour, and I look at the radio. But I feel like while I'm riding, I feel like the songs that come are songs that I should be hearing on the radio that's off at the time. and the songs that just come to me in that way. Also, like by conversation, like for instance, I was talking to a friend, and they were going through some hard times. Like their mother was in ICU, and and they were crying, tearful and whatever. And as soon as I left them in that conversation, while I was encouraging them, I think it was like a 20-mile ride home, and I wrote "Guys on Your Side." I didn't write anything down or anything. I just sung it in my phone, and which turned out to be the last single on the last record for the Mississippi Mass Choir featuring Lee Andrea Johnson. And it's just stuff that just happens like that. It comes from the source, and I just try not to be in the way of that. That's myself personally. And how it's something bigger than you is when those same songs will turn around and bless you like you didn't actually write them. You know what I'm saying? Because you need them, as well. So I'm just thankful to be a vessel and be used, and hopefully that continues. Try to always have an ear towards him.
Yeah, I like that he has his hands on you. I love that one.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, man. That was another one that it just came while I was on the plane. And I had this habit at one time during those songs in particular where I wouldn't write anything down. I still don't write anything down much. It'll just be me singing the song as a voice note or something like that, or in a mic, and it'll just flow that way. Or I might change stuff, during that time or whatever. But I was told, Uncle John Key.
Yeah.
So he told me to stop doing that. And he was telling me that I listened to one of his videos, and he was saying he used to do the same thing. And it was like a process of elimination, and that's how I felt as well. It's like whatever you don't remember, I would think whatever I didn't remember must be, substantial enough for me to keep. Yeah. So I'll do those songs. But that wasn't necessarily the smartest thing to do. I stopped doing that.
For him doing that on Instagram, I think, with the last song you produced for Marvin, right?
Yeah, man. That's how I was. I look back at that video again. I didn't realize I just got out the shower. My hair was like dripping and stuff.
Doing a music video.
Yeah. But it was the same thing. I just started videotaping myself and singing that song. And that's how it came. I was rocking to it, and it turned out to be the single. I think the song did go #1 and stayed up there for 2 weeks. So Marvin and Pastor Marvin and myself have been working probably for the last 12 years on every one of his records since then. Like I've had a song or maybe his second single or so on and so forth. So yeah.
That's what's up. So Stan, just real quick, and then I'm gonna go to some of these comments because there's some guys that's saying a few things that we could probably speak to. But can you just give us a rundown of just a few of the people that Stan Jones had worked with?
Oh man, I've been blessed and fortunate to work with some geniuses, and when I say geniuses, I mean like legends or people who I grew up on personally as well, like as far as the Ken Spirituals, of course, Harvey Watkins and the Ken Spirituals, the Williams brothers. I've had a chance to work with Mr. Lee Williams a couple of times, Miss Yolanda Adams, Mississippi Mass Choir, as I mentioned before, Marvin Sapp, Brian Courtney Wilson. As of recent, Pastor Shirley Caesar. A lot of people. a lot.
Yes, sir. Legend. That's a resume. Well, and that's I try to stress to a lot of guys now, and we do it on the show that that's what you want to do. I mean, it's about your talent, but you got to get to places and get into places where you can use your talent and your talent can be used.
Yes, sir. Well, again, but the Bible says a gift will make room for you. But it won't make room if the gift is not displayed in some way.
All right.
That's how it works. That's how it goes. For instance, I'll tell this right quick, like Bishop Marvin Sapp, the way I actually started working with him was I put out some music a long time ago, and he told me the story. He was like, man, I kept passing by my son's room, and I just kept hearing this music over and over and over again. And he was like, man, I had to find out who this was. So it turned out to be something that I did. And it's funny, how I met him was at a concert he was featured on. I was playing for the Williams Brothers. And Melvin, he was like, man, I want you to meet our little drummer. I was a little kid. I want you to meet our little drummer. And he said, this is Stan Jones. Marvin was like, nice to meet you, Stan. And he said, wait a minute. Stan Jones, oh my God. Like, dude, I got your music right here on my phone. And that's how it started. He was like, why don't you write something for me? And I heard it because, you know, there's a such thing as convention talk, Josh. You know how that goes. Convention talk is like, yeah, Doc, I get with you. You know, we'll hang. Yeah, you know what I mean? So he was just coming off the heels of the album of Never Would Have Made It, which was one of the biggest songs of all time in gospel music. So I was like, this dude is tripping. Like, he's just talking. So I left it that way. I didn't think nothing else of it. But he kept reaching out. And he reached out on social media. Then he tweeted me, Stan Jones, send me a song in front of his, like, all his followers. And I was like, oh, maybe this dude is serious.
Gotta work now.
Yeah. So after that, I sent him He Has His Hands on You. And that album was titled Here I Am, which turned out to be, I think, the biggest selling gospel album of all time. I think it sold like 750,000 in its first week.
Woo.
Yeah, so it was insane.
The rest is history.
Shaq funny, man. He be sliding them little things in.
So let's go to the comment stand. There's a few things I guess you could probably speak to. Randy Conley says, I am trying to get my group to the next level. We're trying to be balanced in our music and business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Randy, did you have a question from that for that?
I guess we can turn that into a question. I'm sure he's asking how do you do that? A lot of people don't realize is that this is music, and we love doing it. We love creating it, but it is a business if you want to be successful on both sides, creatively and business-wise. You have to incorporate people in your circle that handle those things. And it does take a little bit of effort and sometimes money, you know. And I know you know that, Josh, especially now. It takes money as well, and to make those investments, you should be expecting a return. So when you do that, it is your version of taking care of business. You hire an attorney, you hire somebody who's going to look out for you. You get a manager who can put you in places where you cannot put yourself. That's what great business is all about. And as far as music and creativity, make sure that you're creating something that people want to hear. So I learned within my own self, when, you know, Josh, when you can have the ability, and Shaq, when you can have the ability to make a track, you can go in the studio and do that and just make a song. I can do that. But I had to learn the difference between doing something because I can and doing something of value and substance that means something to people beyond myself.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I'm here to create this music for people to be blessed, not just me to be good with it and leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? Did I say something wrong, Josh? I saw you look at Shaq over
Your throat.
Yeah, I had to mute the mic to clear my throat, and I think I started Shaq a little bit.
Oh man, yeah, but that's definitely what it's about, and you create that balance as far as music and business, and you make sure you pay attention to both in this right perspective and way, and both of them will thrive and take the group to the next level.
So how do you balance the business side and the creative side, since we on that? Like, I know most folks think it's just, oh, you got to come in here and find a song that God gave you. But then when it's time for business, the Lord don't want you doing that right there. This
No, I think great music in most cases will take care of itself. Like we talked about earlier about the fact that, the gift will make room for you. Like once people hear what you're doing and what's happening, like sometimes they'll come and find you. As Josh, I'm sure you guys know or have experienced that. I'm sure everybody in your life is not somebody that you call and that necessarily beg to for them to be a part of what you're doing. They just hear or see what you're doing and see your work ethic and they want to be a part of it. So that's what it's all about. I mean, if you do it and put it out there, the Bible says, if you lift him up, he'll draw all men unto you. And that includes the people who are going to take care of you as well. So,
yes, sir. All right. I'm getting to these comments, ladies.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Y'all keep on bringing them. We're gonna touch them. We're gonna touch everybody we can. Okay. Marvin Jeffrey says, why do producers take the spiritual feel from a song just to make it commercial? I think.
He been somebody being messy. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. Again, that's it goes back to that question, the first question, that balance of creativity. Like you can create some great songs, but if it doesn't stand up or amount to a certain level, then it might not get played. It might not get heard. That's the business part of it. So I think, in my opinion, I always try to personally accomplish both sides of that. Like I wanted to be heard. I wanted to, for instance, if a song that's very highly admirable or created, like a Kirk Franklin or somebody like that, I want to create something that is substantial, but I also want to make something that stands up to when this song goes off, my song can come on and it will feel
right up
to what's happening. Yes, sir.
Sure.
So you and to answer the question, basically, you can do both. You can accomplish both.
All right. Amos Gaines said that Mississippi Mad's new song is a go-getter.
Thank you so much. Just found out today that the Mississippi Mass song, The Promise, I think it moved from 27 last week to 23 this week on Billboard. So it's moving fast. It's moving very, very fast. So we're very excited about that.
Up. We got to stream it.
That's it. Stream it. Add it to your playlist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please do. Please do.
That's Javon. Javon was on with us last week. He said, "Can he get a call back?"
I didn't know you called me. I didn't. Got to make sure you got the right number. But yes, sir.
Kendrick Blair.
Ken, what's good?
Yeah. It's good to see you, Kendrick.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Okay.
What are sources and resources to help learn the business side?
There are several seminars and different things that happen throughout the music industry and the gospel music industry. For instance, the Stellar Wars is coming up very soon in Las Vegas. There's stuff that happens with you. Have you been, right, Josh? I'm sure, to the Stellar Wars.
This is gonna be my first year going to the Stellars.
Okay, cool. Well, there's stuff that happens all week long, basically. So they give classes, they teach panels, and it'd be a lot of the people who are like in the higher rankings from the executive side, or maybe attorneys and so on and so forth. Hi, Tiffany. Yeah, there's several places where you can go to learn the business and be effective. As far as resources, that means are they speaking money or what? But a lot of people now, as far as financial support to give towards your creative dreams and making an album, a lot of people, it's trending now. Like, you don't need a label, you don't need this no more, you don't need that. But the truth is, a lot of record labels have funded and created a lot of dreams when the people could not afford to do so. But they don't realize how expensive that stuff is until they get into it. That stuff costs a lot of money, man. And what labels do is they definitely give you the resources and the finances to make that stuff happen. Of course, we want our money back, but hopefully, based on the music that's created, it'll come back.
I keep doing
Man,
that.
what you eat today, Josh?
I need some water.
I'm about to go have a whole jug of water.
All right.
Go ahead,
Erica Rocket said, can you discuss split sheets and how they work and copyrights when you and the artist participate in the writing process?
Split sheets and splits for songs are, in most cases, are based on the contributions to that particular song or songs. And you make an agreement between those parties, the artists and writers or producers or the people who are actually making the song. You agree upon that and make sure that it is concrete and written down and recorded, because you don't want somebody coming back like Josh tried to sue me. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. But you don't want anybody trying to come back and trying to say, well, I did more than that after the song is a success. Make sure you have somebody who is present and everybody agrees, and the song and those splits are documented in that way, so you can move on and move forward. But I will say that's a great. You can go on, about that, because people are now trying to take advantage of that kind of stuff. They add one chord and they think they wrote 50% of the song. It's just not like that, man. And people are trying to take advantage of situations in that way. And you have to be careful and mindful. And when you do run into stuff like that, that might be somebody you might not need to be working with, because God is not the author of confusion, and no chaos is not going to be nowhere around me. I have to have peace and good brothers around me, so I can hear what God is saying through this process. It's not just about skill for me. You know what I'm saying? Let's get, like I said earlier, let's get in here and make a song and blah 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 blah. No, I want to be connected to the source, so I can hear what needs to happen, how it needs to happen, so it can be received the way it needs to be received.
Yes, sir. All right, we got one last question, and then we're gonna ask some more questions from us.
I'm with y'all, man. This y'all show.
Well, when recording, what are some key things you look for? And I think, go ahead.
When recording, what are some key things I look for? I want to make sure, as an engineer, that everything is coming in as clean as possible. That's the first thing. I also want to make sure that if I'm on the producing side of things, that the artist is getting exactly what they want. And since I'm hired, in most cases, they do want me to add what I can add to it to make it better. So I always look at it like, if it's Harvey and the Ken Spirituals, which Josh, based on the last album that we did, like it's the Ken Spirituals car. Like, if I'm allowed to put some rims on it, that's what I try to do, to do it in that way. And in most cases, I'm allowed to put the rims on there because Pop knows that I know him. And I've studied him for years, and I know basically what I feel like he would like. And sometimes he will allow me to, from the beginning, from the first record, he's allowed me to try some stuff and kind of expand things, and he would trust me to do so, which is always fun, because the Driven record was my first album I did, which featured That Man and I Recommend Jesus and
your mail course hits.
Yes, sir. Which was such a fun record, man, because people came in from everywhere with great hearts that just wanted to contribute. You know what I'm saying? From a good place.
Yep.
I think Paul just came, and Reverend Andrew Cheers came by. You know, everybody just stopped by and just wanted to, you know, hear and be a part of what's going on in some way. But the creativity thing, you know, the interlude, for instance, and what quick story, and we'll move on. When the top of that record starts, where I wanted to create like an AM radio situation where the hits from Harvey that he's done over the years kind of segue into each other before that man comes on. And he was like, okay, I'm with it. Let's try it, see how it goes. And it turned out great. But to show you, Josh, how some people don't understand or get it, he told me after the album came out, man, Shaq, he told me that people was actually taking the CD back to Walmart. My CD, this is how. So I looked at him. Of course, I was terrified. I was like, I'd have let my man down, man. Trying to do different. But you know what he said? He said, "Don't even worry about it. It's gonna be fine. Just give it some time. It'll be fine. People will get used to it." And they did. It turned out to be, one of the best records that we've been fortunate enough to do. So what I'm saying is just give it some time and have people that you can trust and they trust you as well, and they allow you to do what God has called you to do.
Pull that question up right there.
I'm gonna say, first of all, though, I thought that was a fire idea, but it confused me at first too, because I know my daddy had bought the album and I didn't know the album was out, and he put that album in, and I just was sitting in the back listening, and I was like, what's going on? Why he keep singing the song?
So you was messed up too. You was one of the ones.
That was a little different aspect from the conspiracy one.
Man, I'm telling you, man. But even all those things, like I called him on the phone in one of the interludes, and he didn't know what I was doing at all. And I just called him. He's like, "Hello." I'm like, man, when you coming to the studio? All that kind of stuff. And I put it on the record, and man, that was such a special album. It really was. Probably one of my top favorites of all time that I've ever been fortunate enough to work with.
Hey, did you write Watch and Move? Stay there.
Yes, sir.
That's one of my favorite songs on that record.
Yeah, but it was just, Paul came with a song. Of course, Pop came with songs. Vic Allen came with a song. Billy came with a song. It was just everybody just trying to, make one body of work great. And when you have everybody on one accord that way, man, it was a beautiful thing. And when we kind of finished the album, I was like, we need one more that kind of like that festival type song where you said, "Have a good night," and that was that song. And Pop, I think the lyrics, you're on the verge of giving up when the road is too rough, and it seems like there's more than you can bear. But before you pick up the wheels, all you have to do is chill. And Paul was like, you got him to say chill. I was like, yeah, man. Yeah. But it was such a great album, man. Such a great album. And Pop, you know how masterful he is. And to his credit, when he came in, he said something. He said, "We will be perfect." That's what he said. But he was being funny a little bit, but I took that serious. I was like, we will be perfect. And every day it was like that. I felt like he set a standard that day. And I took notes from that. So I try to do that. I try to enter in every situation, every album the same way, because that's what God is about. You don't never do nothing halfway.
Yeah.
So I want to take on those same characteristics. Yes, sir.
Go get Key1 comment.
Okay. What up, Dante?
Since we kind of in that area.
All right.
Come on, Shaq.
All right. Key1 Shumper said, "What are the qualifications for musicians to be called in recording sessions?"
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
Uh, I'm gonna say for me personally, um, being a musician in a studio is a totally different animal than just playing for church or something like that. You have to give the song what it requires and do just that. A lot of studio musicians do know how to do that, and those are the ones who get the calls. And musicians who, man, y'all put me on the spot, man.
You're a musician, so you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You
You
say
have
it, you want to say it on his stand.
Yeah, I know. You have to be careful when you hire musicians for recording sessions who can't hear nobody else but themselves when they're playing.
Come on.
You want somebody who is going to be a part of the body of music that's happening and know
Yes.
how to insert themselves, know how to play in a way that it complements the song, not
Mhm.
necessarily takes over because I want to be heard.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
That's a big difference, and that's where maturity comes in. At you know what I'm saying? Like um, we did for Cooling Water, Josh. We did the demo for the song, and the drums that I laid on the demo actually were the same drums that ended up on the album. I didn't have to replay them or anything like that, but it's because you just lock it. You don't have to like go crazy and show what I can do. I like that.
Yeah,
The turnarounds and just to be like, I want people to hear me,
Yeah.
and just play or do whatever complements the song, and that's what will get the calls for sure.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm gonna ask you this, Stan. We got
Yeah,
about
man.
20 minutes left, or a little less.
Man,
Uh,
can I be honest? When you told me we was gonna be on an hour, I felt like this gonna be a long time, but we almost done.
yeah, we
all
are.
done.
It
Man,
don't take long when you got something to talk about.
you're talking good. That's right,
You
man. Well,
got a
y'all
real
good, man. I want to say congratulations to y'all too, man. All y'all are doing. I've been watching, man. I've been really enjoying too y'all's episodes. So y'all keep doing it. Y'all be encouraged as well.
appreciate you.
So we
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
that, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask you this. I ask just about everybody this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in your span of years working in the gospel industry, uh, how has the gospel industry changed over the years, and how have you adapted to the change in your area of expertise?
Man, it goes back to the business of things. I've learned that pride can destroy a lot of stuff, man. And if you don't move along with how things are progressing, you'll get left behind. But the thing that'll keep you behind is the pride. Is the pride that tell you like, I don't need to change for nobody. I don't need to do nothing. I just be who I am. It don't work like that. If you want to be successful in the business of and in ministry, as well, you have to speak a language that people can understand and hear. And if I walked up to you on the basketball court and was like, "Thus said, pass me the ball," you'd be like, "Yo, what you talking about?"
See how we pass.
y'all probably be like, "Dude, get out of here, man! You talking like that?" You know what I'm saying? But that you have to make sure that you are in accordance to what is happening, and that's I feel like that's the point of it all.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Brenda Davis said you got to be humble as well. All right. Well, can you share some of
Rhonda Davis.
Brenda Davis?
Brenda Davis. Oh yeah, that's right. You have to be humble. The definition of humble. What man? I,
Humble
I guess
meanings.
what'd you say, Shaq?
Got a bunch of meanings on it.
Man, I looked at the dictionary of and studied or looked at what the meaning of humble is, and I was like, uh, I think you have to be approachable and nice and genuinely nice to people. But the definition says to think lowly of oneself. And sometimes I question, do every human being on this planet deserve a version of you, Josh, to think lowly of yourself when I see you? I feel like there's a negative connotation with that. I mean, now Shaq already shaking his head. But right, right, because you have to be careful, and I know God protects all, but some people will take that and use it to their advantage and misuse you and mistreat you and do all kinds of stuff. But that's a whole nother subject for another day. But I agree, yeah, we do have to be approachable and remain in humility so God can use us. Now I 1,000% agree with that. You know, when you are in surrender and in dedication to Him, you know, when you come before Him, you come in Paul. In dedication to Him, you come to Him as humbly as you can, you know, so you can be used and allow Him to use you.
Guys,
Doggone Paul, boy.
That's Paul Porter, man.
Oh, glory to the King.
If it be that, who we got that from?
Oh yeah, that's my man. Paul Porter. Paul Porter is also featured on the new Mississippi Mass album that's coming out.
Oh, yeah. That is a churchy.
Huh?
Y'all went back to the church with that one.
Man, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got something for everybody on it. We were fortunate to come to one to practice.
Yeah, man. That one way home is it's gonna be right. I'm telling you, man. Paul killed it as he normally does. Paul think I be joking, man, but Paul Porter is one of the greatest vocalists of our time. Like, I am not kidding you. That dude can sing like nobody's business. And I was man, I remember being at a funeral and he came and sung, I think Ain't No Way I Can Lose. And I was like, who in the world is this dude? I had to be like 7 or something. But I was like, this dude is incredible. And I had to know more about him. And man, this guy is still cold. Like his voice, man, it's held up for sure, man. He's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Well, Stan, can you just share with us some of your most memorable moments that you had?
We got like 12 minutes left. You must be on the like on the cheap version of this situation because you got to get off in an hour.
No, we ain't got to get off.
We just want to take care of your time.
I appreciate that. I thought, you know.
Hold on, we got another question. Boss lady asked him a question. Pull that one up. I think that's an all right question.
Boss lady asks, what are the biggest mistakes new artists and musicians make coming into the industry that you may see? That's a mean question.
That is, yeah, that is. One thing that I see the most is that, man, this statement might be correct in what I just said. A lot of new artists, sometimes people don't want to approach them, and they could be talented and gifted because they already think they're somewhere that they're not. And because they are that way, there are people who want to help and possibly take them to a level, but they don't want to deal with the character that they see. You know what I'm saying? You have to be careful with that. And I see that with a lot of new artists, and you have to be very, very careful with that. You know, let the gift make the room. Be cool. You know, you ain't got to put yourself, you know, in that headspace. I keep talking about Pop, but like Pop Harvey has taught me so many things. I remember asking him one day, because this is what I saw growing up. I was like, so when you are successful in this music industry, does arrogance come with that? And he looked at me and he just said, No, son, that's not how that goes. And I appreciated him telling me that because based on people that I have personally met, who who may be heroes of mine in the music industry, when I first met them before they found out who I was or whatever, it was like, man, I don't want to be like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely one of the main mistakes that I see happening. And it's okay to believe in your mind that you can get to a certain place because sometimes that's the only thing that keeps you going. But on top of that, you have to be careful that you don't push away the people who can actually be a blessing to you and actually help you to get there.
That's good, Stan.
Yes.
And not having a business in order too. I'm just gonna add that with you.
Come on, Shaq. Come on. Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that.
Well, before we leave, we're gonna get the most memorable, some of your most memorable and times and stuff.
Yeah, man, we'll do that.
But Shaq, you got anything else to say, brother?
No, I'm a man of few words.
Until you talk about them terrible Lakers, you all talk then.
King James. That's what I gotta say.
King James.
Ray Braswell says fantastic.
Ray. Remarkable. Yeah. That's my guy.
Stacy Bill.
Stacy.
Hey,
Abrona. I can maybe I said that wrong. Kelvin.
That's Al son.
Yeah, that's Al Hollis' son, Kevin.
Oh yeah, man.
Dale said tomorrow night at the game he'll have on black.
Oh man, like it's a funeral, doc. That's what he said.
Gonna be a lot of slow walking there.
That's cold-blooded, man.
Yeah, we do want to give a shout out to Pastor Tim.
Absolutely, man. Our brother, Pastor Tim Rogers, who just lost his wife, man. I don't even know what to say about that. It's just tough. It has to be tough on him. Tim is a brother to us all, and so was his wife, who was always kind every time I saw her. And it's unfortunate, and we're gonna be praying for Tim and his family for sure.
Yes, sir. Sure no.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tim, that was another. You talk about moments. Tim Rogers was also one of the great moments I remember one time Doug and I were at a Bobby Jones taping or something, and this little short dude got up to sing. And I was like, man, I was sitting beside Doug. We were sitting behind the stage. I was like, man, who in the world is that?
Rough.
He was guest appearing, and I think Doug might have said, you know what, he's been on my radar. I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, he's been on my radar. He said, you think we should try to work with him? I said, man, yeah, this dude is cold. And we went somewhere to hear them sing again, the whole group. And when I got to hearing Terry and Bilbo and Brian, I was like, man, these dudes are incredible. So we ended up doing the first album, which was called Change. That album was I still listen to that album to this day. And I wrote a song on there called Happy with Jesus and Jesus. Yeah. Sing it, Shaq. Come on, now. Come on, Doc.
We woke up to be. We were saying that on BET every Sunday morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So that was a great moment. I love working with legendary and established artists, but it's no greater feeling to see an artist who is just starting and you have the ability to create something together that shoots them to the moon. You know what I'm saying? Like the first album we did for Brian Courtney Wilson, I wrote a song on his album called All I Need Is a Touch from You. And that song, I think it stayed on the Billboard for like 92 weeks. It's still the longest running song that set on Billboard for almost 2 years. And yeah, it's no better feeling than that. You know what I mean? Because, you know, if you do a song with Stevie Wonder, Josh, people would be like, that's Stevie Wonder. We expected that to be, you know, to do that. But
Yeah.
create something from scratch and build, you know, that's a whole different type of feeling in its entirety. So yeah.
That's good stuff right there, man.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Why you fold your arms though? What's up with that?
I'm finna tell you something. I'm ready.
I knew something was coming.
Big and that shit.
Okay. All right, let's go. I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm ready. Oh, Cash Henry said, let's move. Dale ain't gonna let up off of you, Stan.
I hope we singing happy tomorrow, Dale. Kumbaya something.
Dale need to go in timeout, Doc. He's doing too much.
I think Dale in the Bay, ain't he?
Is he?
Yeah, Dale be out there kicking it with Steph now.
And he a Laker fan?
Laker fan.
He got his anointing mixed up. His wires crossed.
Yeah, and true.
Man.
Paul said, we appreciate you, Paul. Paul, you incredible.
Yeah, we love you, man. Paul's my dude.
Yes, sir.
You playing the outgoing music, Doc. We finna get out.
Oh, you want to stay on?
No. Hey man, we gotta stick to show times, I guess. Hey, man,
we can't go over time now.
We're trying to stick with our time because we
okay.
We want the radio people to know that we can stick in our time. So you know they might want to pick us up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like that.
But Stan, will you give the aspiring artists or the young artists that's coming up, producers, whatever they're doing, do you have some just words to give them, inspiring words to give them if they're trying to do this thing in the music industry?
Man, I'll repeat what I said a little while ago. You have to study to show thyself approved. Do your homework. Study people who have done great things as well. You know, see what they've done and what it took for them to get there. If you have a passion about it, or a calling to this thing, purpose driven by God, then nothing will sway you. Anything that will come your way that may disappoint you on your journey, you're gonna keep going because you know it's who you are. And I'm a witness to that. I've been through a lot of stuff, especially when I was first starting. You know, I used to do records for people who couldn't pay me a dime, and that's real talk. And I man, when I was first starting as my teenage years, I would leave my vehicle, you know, in my driveway and walk to the studio because I didn't have money to put gas in, just to go work for free. But I knew that the more I did that, I was sharpening the skills that God had given me, and I was sharpening my purpose and my gifting through that situation. But think about it, if I had not done that, the things that people heard when they requested me to do work for them, that's the gift making room for you. It never would have happened. So if I had pressed my way, none of that stuff would have never happened. So I'm glad I did. And I want to encourage people who are, you know, interested and very eager to follow their own purpose, to stick with it and know that when God gives it, ain't nothing gonna mess that up.
Well, thank you, Stan.
Yes, sir, Doc.
Stan, we're glad to have you, man. We're glad you took time out.
Man, this was fun, man. This was fun. Shaq,
we're gonna get you back again with some more folk.
That'll be fun. Y'all let me know. Y'all, you know I'm down with the boys.
Yes, sir. And we thank everybody for coming on the show this evening.
Paul, I got this from you. What you be doing with your hand? It'll make you look like you talk.
He said you talking if you're doing this.
Moving your hand.
Thank you for coming on. Look, y'all can check us out every Tuesday at 6:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. And don't forget to check us out next Thursday exclusively on YouTube. We're going to have Fred Perry, J.N. Anderson, Darnell Williams, Lawrence McKenzie, and Duke Smith. We're going to be talking about musicianship and audio production from 6:30 to 8:00 p.m. You can subscribe to youtube.com/@MilesHouseMusic. Thank y'all once again.
We're going to leave you with this Morrison Sister, our theme song, I'm Not Going to Hell.
Come on.
Darren, we want you to check these guys out.
Okay.
You got to hear this.
Yes, sir.
Please don't leave. Wait till we finish before you decide if you want to leave or not. Listen to the words of the song. Here we are. Good friend Brother Stacy Piercy wrote the song. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Innocent I was living, no fault was I given a guiding for where I would go. I was looking in Bible, so hard was I trying to gain all this world had to hold. No peace and no pleasure could I even measure with all that I had to gain. But our pity and prayed God save me that day, and now I've got something to say. I'm not going to hell. I met the Savior, what story I tell. I'm saving, forgiven, set free, all is well. I'm not going to hell. No, I'm not going to hell. Now my life's worth living since I've been forgiven. Christ made a real change in me, and I'm no longer crying when I think about dying, 'cause heaven is waiting for me. Now Satan's still alive, and he's always trying to lead you down the wrong way. But just call on Christ's name, he'll save you today. Then look back to Satan and say, I'm not going to hell. I met the Savior, what story I tell. I'm saving, forgiven, set free, all is well. I'm not going to hell. No, I'm not going to hell.
Anybody glad about that?
I'm not going to hell. I met the Savior, what story I tell. I'm saving, forgiven, set free, all is well. I'm not going to hell. No, I'm not going to hell.
Wow.
I am not going to hell.
Man, them people, they sung the cover off that microphone. That was amazing. Wow.
They were saying,
That man, I bet those people are glad they didn't leave. When he said, don't go nowhere. Wait till we.
please don't leave.
Wait till we finish.
Yeah, man, that was phenomenal, man. Wow.
In the shower.
No, that was great, man. Wow. The harmonies were amazing.
Yeah.
Well, again, we thank you, Stan, and we thank everybody for coming on to the I Hear You
Podcast.
I hear you. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.